While playing the Carrom game, something that often comes to our minds is who invests in this interesting game. Amazingly, there are so many Carrom game fans, but all of them don't about the history of this joyful game. So in this video, we will explore the hidden history of the most amazing game, Carrom. Carrom is one of the most famous indoor tabletop games. The Carrom game is commonly played in India, often at social events online with family or with friends. Carrom is generally played by 2 or 4 people. However, the game is also known by many other names around the globe, like Carrom, Couron, Carrom, 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 and finger billiards. A Carrom board is a smooth, plain, and flat, square-shaped wooden board that is usually 71 to 74 centimeters square. Basically, it is generally placed 60 to 70 centimeters above the ground level. The corners of the Carrom board contain circular holes of 51 mm diameter. All the holes are covered with a net underneath them to catch the pieces. However, the main objective of the game is to put all the discs into the 4 pockets that are placed in all the corners of the board by using a striker. The Carrom men have 3 colors that are pink, black, and white. Both black and white Carrom men have a count of 9 each in a game. The pink Carrom man is known as the queen, and yes, it is most valuable. But to win the queen, you need to pocket a cover too. To make the movement of these Carrom coins smoother, people use talcum powder and spread it all over the board. Well, it must invoke the curiosity to know about the origin of Carrom. Put a glance at this spot. This is Delhi, which is the capital of the world's second most populous nation, India. It is one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world that is full of history. Let's back almost 3,000 years when it was in this North Indian metropolis where this interesting game was discovered. However, there are no clear statements or evidence about its origin as it is an Indian-based game. So, like many modern games, the precise origin of the Carrom game is still not confirmed, but that's true. It is widely believed that the Carrom game originated in the Indian subcontinent at some point in the 18th century. In fact, there are a lot of people who state that it was designed by a Maharaja of Indian regain. On the other hand, they believe Maharaja did not invest in it because Carrom is a kind of game that was adapted from a similar street game from the period. However, evidence that Carrom was being played in the Maharaja's palaces comes from a Carrom board dating from around that time with a beautiful glass top that is held in the palaces in Patiala. That evidence is so interesting. But still, some people believe and link its origins to Portugal and even Burma. However, Carrom is spelled in many ways, like Carrom, 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 and Kairam, but it is so confusing, right? Well, it simply reinforces an underlying trend and nature of Carrom, where tradition and history reveal a different variety. So, the history of people's thought and the history of Carrom preceded that was not written in words, therefore the game has no record of it. Well, if we talk about the first game of Carrom, what Noon knows is that Carrom was first played in the style with which we are now familiar, or as we play today. However, we seem to know when the word Carrom entered into usage. The word Carrom might originate in Timor in Southeast Asia. However, it traveled with the Portuguese, who found the Carrom game to be a convenient description for the Malabar coast of India. It is also believed that Carrom is the name of a particularly delicious fruit, which was commonly known as star fruit in the late 18th century. But how strange it is the English-speaking world also knows this word in the context of the game of Carrom billiards, which is also a popular game that played on a snooker-type table without pockets. Additionally, the word Carrom becomes prominent in English usage because of the growing popularity of billiards, which simply means hitting one thing onto another. Furthermore, now the word Carrom also become more familiar with cannon in English usage. Basically, cannon was in use in English, and Carrom was becoming the standard name for a variety of games that were invented on the base of the contemporary form of the game. If we talk about the recent history of the Carrom game, it is clear that it involves the Portuguese. They cannot be solely responsible because they are being remembered as responsible. Just like Aristotle is remembered for the books that did survive and not for the other works that did not. However, concerning Carrom, we might credit the Portuguese for no other reason But of course, they are responsible for the existence of the word Carrom, and also they are the people to whom the history books point. Basically, Carrom is an ancient game that has been converted into the modern world because it is very simple to adapt to easily suit the existing circumstances. Tolerance for different styles of play is the key to the success of the game. It always has been a game played by simple folk, for simple time pass and fun. As we all know, games are part of living culture, and something has been recognized by game commentators over the centuries, such as language, as they are adopted from other countries or nations. Basically, in India, the International Carrom Federation was formed in Chennai in 1988, and the formal rules for the Indian version of the Carrom game were also published in the same year. The modern Carrom game has become so popular in South Asia, Arabia, such as Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Bahrain. It does not stop here. The game is gaining popularity in the West also. As we all see, regularly organized tournaments are being held in India and other parts of the world. Because of internet service and the rise of social gaming online, Carrom games are increasing in popularity all around the world. As it is available online, you can select to play against the computer or play against other players online. To play this game, you have to follow the basic rules of it. For example, during striking, you have to place the striker between baselines touching the top and bottom lines simultaneously. The striker should be flicked in the forward direction. However, if you pocket the queen and a piece of its own color, he gets another turn. When you commit a foul, that means your turn is over. When one cannot pocket the cover after the queen is returned to the center. Even at this time, it is also widely played in China. They play it despite a very limited knowledge of the game. Interestingly, the Chinese describe the game of Carrom with 3 Chinese characters that roughly translate as a healthy game. For a game to earn such a label from the Chinese is incredibly amazing. Well, if you liked this interesting video, then please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon so that you can stay tuned for the latest videos. We'll catch you soon. Goodbye for now!